ban.
Radiant team pick.
And let's find out what 687 does for OG and the Alliance, because this is their first game in the new patch. On land, to form teams from the back end of last year. What can they bring to 2016? Because it's about time they showed up.
Doom, the big hero, is still in the pool for me. I know Gareth mentioned the Wisp, which is like a pick that both play incredibly well, but Doom is like the meta pick that's still there and something you should likely see picked up in the first stage by one of the two teams.
Doom Lion or something like that.
So the Wisp is in, which is no shock whatsoever.
No. Like the past, let's say the past 10 games or something for these two teams, even on the old patch, they're like prioritizing Wisp or Earth Spirit first pick for OG. Wisp is like the main one, while Alliance, they're like the Beastmaster. Sometimes they pick up their lone druid just to get Bulldog his heroes, but Arca's Chen. If they got second pick, try and get that jungler up as well.
But Chen and a Puck, which we didn't see any Chen yesterday at all. Not really that surprising with the teams playing. We have seen a fair bit of Puck.
Yeah. Chen had one of the best win rates in the previous patch, and even just looking at win rates by like ELO shifts in teams.
Yeah, but gods, we can't count that because that's just Puppy playing it.
Oh, and Ake. That was Alliance when they were winning these lands. It was like Ake and Puppy are like the two. That's the thing.
Well, they're skewing the odds.
It was like
everyone else is losing on Chen, but those two are winning.
It was like Chen dire side win rate was 75%. How many games were played? Oh, like 40 games, and who played them? Puppy and Ake played them.
These guys account for such a huge portion of the Chen games, where that does get inflated. But it speaks to the hero and its power, where there's these certain players who just play it so ridiculously well. This was the hero which, when teams figured out when Alliance started winning lands, when they won Starlight, won WCA, and they fell off, it was because everyone started banning Chen. I think people realized, why are we banning Bulldog's heroes? Why are we trying to ban out S4 with this Puck as bat? This Chen pick is like one of the key strats that Alliance run.
A hero that I kind of wanted to bring up yesterday when we saw Newbie running these kind of healing sustain strats is Ancient Apparition. They banned it out in one of their games as a fourth ban yesterday. I can't remember who against. When they realised, hang on a second,
you're right. Yeah.
We should ban this out just in case.
There was an AA ban, yeah.
It was against New Diggity.
It didn't get picked either.
Okay.
Yeah, in the winner bracket final.
But it never got picked. And against, Juggernaut, Wisp, and all these healing heroes, I just wonder, can people slide it in?
Back to the start of 686, and it was actually a popular pick for doing exactly that. It's interesting that it's fallen out of favour.
Saw a few picks. The times I've seen on this patch has been against Alchemist, because it's direct counter to the Armlet and the Alchemist ultimate. And when Alchemist was before he got nerfed recently, before that it was like, let's pick something.
What are they, I'm interested in the Brood ban. Why have the Alliance done that?
Chen kind of creates a deficit in your lane for like the first 3 or 4 minutes, so you're going to have a solo support and a safe laner. So Brood can fully abuse that support. It's a safety ban,
yeah. It's still a bit interesting because you've got the IO Bristle, which is normally Bristle normally considered
dual
off lane. Yeah.
Yeah. They could run it dual mid though.
I'm not a big fan of the Bristle mid because you don't have kill potential. Like if you're doing an IO dual lane mid, you want to have kill power.
Radiant side stacking Ancients though, which IG used to do that a lot. Like back at Frankfurt last year, they pulled it out a fair amount.
Alliance's turn to pick.
So Droban, you're making sure you don't get cheesed by anything here. I'm curious to see if the IO Bristle actually pair up. There's like we saw Newbie run the IO Bristle, and they just left KP kind of on his own for a bit in the off lane with the Bristle, and had the IO helping out the mid lane more. Faceless Void. Now,
with the Puck, a bit of overlap in skill sets, but
I mean, it's just incredible initiation. Teamfight is not something Alliance are going to be lacking in. When they're playing this Chen strat, they're very much looking to push down towers, take teamfights, and create this kind of death ball type lineup. So
counteracts the Wisp relocate in really nicely as well. You get jumped by someone.
So we'll see what the next couple is going to be on the side of OG. I'm always just curious. I mean, we talk about Miracle. I feel like you're just going to keep talking about this guy because he is that playmaker and the guy who just plays absolutely anything the team needs.
He pulls out these weird item builds as well. Like, I remember I was watching him last year, February, March, when he was playing for 4 Bunnies, 1 Turtle, was his Jordanian team name, tier, like Division 2 JDL team playing back then. And I still remember he was against a Queen of Pain Orchid and a couple of Silencers, and it was the first time I had ever seen a Ewell's Emperor Spirit. And just, wait a second. He's actually picked that up. It's amazing, The brain on that kid is
what do you think of the DK?
Really good pick.
It's a newbie draft.
Very early mid-game centric. It's kind of a newbie draft coming out from OG. They've been doing some research, it looks like, but it matches up well against the puck in lane. In the mid game as well, you've got an insta point stun to lock the puck down, which is something very valuable. Normally, we've seen too many games where pucks would get out of control. You go back to some previous tournaments where it was like no one for Vega playing the puck, and he just went like 20-0. Having like a Lion on your team, like or a Dragon Knight, is almost essential at some stage of the game to prevent the puck from snowballing too hard.
Gives you another hero that can clear Ancients, decent deep push with the Breathe Fire, and also just actual tower push with that Dragon form. But Notel was playing a pub with Dragon Knight just before this series, actually. Blink Armlet was what he went for, and we used to see a lot of Blink Dragon Knight from like Southeast Asia, but now people are going Armlets.
It was actually the Chinese teams who started the Blink Dagger.
I like Mu
build.
and
yeah. They played this much more fast-paced, tempo-controlling Dragon Knight.
Jump, catch, kill.
Yeah, and then you push towers because the ultimate is so good at taking objectives. So you've got tons of sustained, tanky front line here, and that's the thing. You know there's this big teamfight initiation from a Void and a puck. They can hit your front line in a Chronosphere, but can they actually kill them off? The damage output right now is puck. The Mirana's so. This is most likely going to be a core Mirana. I don't like the idea of having a support Mirana with a Chen in the jungle. That seems incredibly weak. So
Loda Mirana.
Loda Mirana and Bulldog in the offlane Void will possibly see the Midas Aghanims build out of Mirana, or at least some kind of Ags build coming out. Then you've got that magic damage output, but I mean Bristle can go into a pipe if you need. DK is just naturally tanky, builds into the armlet. So
often we've seen EGM on the greedy 4 roll, right? But this game he needs to be the more stable, static laning support.
Plays a lot of like Venge in these situations when they have the Chen.
Bit of Bane maybe, good mana drain against Bristle, DK, the lockdown through BKBs and stuff like that. But I wonder if they need some burst damage, like you were saying, to deal with the Wisp in the back end.
Just nice because it just amplifies everyone's damage up, but it turns everyone into like a pseudo right-clicking carry, and then gives you the swap as well as a utility tool. But other options is you get to fight the relocate. But this is not going to be your classic like IO Tiny. Let's 3 heroes going around and then relocate in and bring in the big carry necessarily.
This is the will walk through you with the Bristle and the Wisp.
That's the thing with IO. IO is very flexible. Some teams play it in a very one-dimensional way with just like IO Tiny, carry, Rat Dota, split foot, etc. But you see newbie play IO. They're not even using the hero really for the relocate. It's much more for the sustain.
And it's not just the individual pairing either. Like we've seen the Wisp actually pair with the Dragon Knight, move from mid to off lane, control up the runes, and backing up Ancients and creep counts.
Then you have like the Navi style where they'll just dual lane at mid with like a Queen of Pain and go just aggressively try and dominate their mid lane. So lots of different ways you can play this.
Saving support for someone caught in Chrono.
I mean, this is just like OG classic. 2 defensive healing supports. Kind of goes back to what they were doing during that Frankfurt Major with
Tusk,
Dazzle, and Tusk. Yeah.
They're unkillable.
Yeah, I think when we saw Newbie run the IO Bristle, they ran a Jug rather than a DK.
They had the Jug safe lane at the Viper mids a couple of times.
Yeah.
They've run Dragon up before as well.
Yeah.
And you mentioned the AA guys. I'm like, if you want to run an AA, this is the time to do it.
It is still there.
It's just like AA Mirana lane, like
it might just disappear in the bans.
It's just awkward.
AA Mirana is a very awkward lane. The Bane Mirana makes a lot more sense as a lane. Even just having a Lion Mirana for some extra burst damage makes a bit more sense. Venge Mirana, having some kind of a setup is a bit more standard as far as drafting goes. But
that's an interesting Earthshaker ban for me.
Yeah, they're expecting a
safe
or a moon offlane Earthshaker and then like a safe lane Bristle. These teams have likely scrimmed a lot too. Like they're in the same region. They haven't been like they played Starlight together, but they've had 3 weeks with no tournaments.
Oh, hello!
There's the ban, and then here comes some old school.
I mean, I've seen a few Huskers on this new patch, and he's yet to really do all that well.
We saw, who was it, IG that picked up Huskar the other day when they had Huskar and Alchemist and 3 healing heroes, and then they got AA picked against them, and it's like, oh shit.
That was a terrible Husk game. I saw Banana Slam Jammer though, he pulled out a Husker in the qualifiers, in the NA qualifiers with enemy GG, and it was like the perfect Husker game, and the hero still looked very, very questionable.
So what's the pick here? Because it's your 4-roll support more likely than not.
Well, do you AA? Now I'm like, okay, go for
AA.
They banned AA.
They banned AA, yeah, that's the trouble.
So, what the other, you want physical damage, Venge is possibility.
Lina?
Control and physical damage are like the main things you want against Husker in this situation.
We saw a lot of 4-roll Linas before trying to get into the Aghanims quickly against
This
Huskar.
is not, like, you haven't got enough farm to go around though when you've got the 10 in the jungle. You've got an offlane Void who's an offlaner who typically wants to take a decent amount of farm as well. I think you are not really like looking to directly counter this Husker. You have to say we've got what we kind of want for our strategy. Let's just get it with and pick up your standard EGM support, your Venge, your Witch Doctor.
10 seconds remaining.
Some are slightly better than others at dealing with a Husker. Okay, ET. ET Marana, there we go. That's a support which pairs well with the Marana. Makes everyone a little bit squishier by having the aura later on, and gives even more team fight to fight around the Void and the Puck, having the Earth Splitter as well to throw into the Chronosphere.
Yeah, like Alliance have got pretty good tower defense if they can just hold onto their tier 1s and not allow the dive to come in through. But that healing from OG with the Miracle Husker as well, don't forget.
Time to put your money where your mouth is. Draft was better. Which team are going to win the series?
OG. I mean, Miracle Husker, this is one of the heroes that he made his name with, right? This is one of the heroes where it was like, hey, that guy's pretty damn good. His Husker demolishing people.
He's almost 9k MMR. He's kind of good.
What's he at now? 80, 89,
He's like
60?
20 points short or something.
10 seconds remaining.
He's almost 9k MMR, which is, it's all right, I suppose.
So, can he armlet toggle?
Remaining.
Pretty damn sure he
You
can.
know, they didn't actually pick any heroes that stop the armlet toggling, so.
Playing against Lions is not a pub, though. It's not the same.
Yeah. Yes. All right.
That's the thing. It's like I see this Husker pick. I'm like, oh, this is gonna work, but then I'm like, it's still Husker. This hero receives nerf after nerf, so I'm gonna
very quickly then.
Elder Titan, also picked in the other series, by the way. I want to believe in the Elder Titan.
Okay. All right. Gods, quickly.
Alliance.
Alliance. Okay. 2 for OG, 1 for Alliance. Let's find out who wins opening game in Group A. Let's head over to our commentary team.
Thank you very much, Red Eye, and indeed we have Alliance versus OG. I was already incredibly excited for this matchup, but what a couple of lineups we've got. I'm OD Pixel, this is Purge. Let's hit ourselves right into the action as the game is underway. But where do we start? I mean, we've got Miracle Husker coming into the fray, EGM picking up new heroes like this Elder Titan the teams have started to flirt with, No Tail on his DK, a crit on his signature IO. Then you're looking over, we're seeing Marana now on Loader, you know, whereas normally we're used to seeing her in the mid lane on this patch. Well, where do we start, Purge? What are you most excited to see?
Well, I like that OG's going for a draft that they used to do a lot when they were winning a lot at Frankfurt. They would grab 2 very defensive supports, and that would enable heroes or players like Miracle to do really well. And Huskar is kind of cool this game. Alliance does have large amounts of magic nukes, especially the Marana Ags build that's very popular. Puck as well as Faces Void, that's a lot of magic damage. So with Huskar, his magic resistance isn't nearly as good as it used to be, but Armlet got buffed, so his physical resistance is a lot better. And Alliance is going to try to solve that problem by grabbing an Elder Titan, which naturally enhances magic damage and lowers base armor. So it kind of solves both of the problems that you need against Huskar. So I kind of like the Elder Titan pick a lot. I think it's a good solution for their problem, which is mostly magic damage, and OG who has a Huskar who's resistant to that, plus 2 defensive supports on top of that. So it could be a very interesting game. Maybe Alliance will get off to a great start, a lot of early advantage, or maybe OG will get to a position where their Huskar and their Bristleback and their DK just never die.
Yeah, I mean, talking about the Elder Titan, do you feel that was a purely reactive pick to the Huskar? Looking at Alliance's draft, do you think they were going to go that way anyway for EGM?
No, I think they were going to pick something else, like Gods was talking about on the panel. Something like Venge looked a lot better as a whole against what OG does, plus it would have synergized well with Puck ulti. They could automatically break the tether. But I think the Elder Titan versus the Huskar was kind of needed because they just needed a way to amplify the magic damage that they do.
And let's talk about these lanes, Post. The top lane, we've got Bulldog being put on his own on the safe lane to deal with Moon on the Bristleback, and they've decided on the side of Alliance to take this tri-lane down here. You've got Loader, Ake, and EGM, in fact, having a bit of a go here onto Miracle, moving in, forcing back the Huskar. Loader jumps forward, one more touch, could do it, but Crit with the heals will save him for the time being, and they will both get themselves back. But already we're seeing the power of this aggression from Alliance, and this laning situation better for Alliance here?
It's really good right now. Elder Titan's one of the best level 1 heroes due to the fact that they steal a lot of damage from enemies. So he got plus 50 damage there, 2 creep waves, 3 heroes, and that's a lot of damage. He's gonna hit plus 50 with this again. And if you can right click a couple heroes and get a lot of HP damage in right now, it's gonna kind of hurt their regen situation that Wisp normally offsets. So here comes plus 68 right now. He just did 115 to that IO.
Poor old IO.
It's real good. He will run out of mana soon, but Ake does have a clarity potion, so they might be able to give him help there. It's basically like they're tri-laning with a Chen. Very, very strong lane to have.
Yeah, and talking about Ake on his Chen, are we going to expect to see him just hang around here, continue to put pressure on with the other 2, or will we see him kind of rotate towards the mid lane, maybe see to try and catch out No Tail on the DK, or are you not trying for that gank yet?
Occasionally there will be a mid gank here, but I like the fact that he's sitting in lane right now, because otherwise they're not going to get enough farm in these matchups. It's scary against the double heal, because any heals that go in IO heal Huskar for extra, so they have to kill either the Dazzle or the IO for this lane to work for them, and they have to try to protect Marana so he doesn't take too much damage from Burning Spears. So it's scary for now. Later they'll shift it, maybe turn Faces Void to the off lane, but for now they're trying to get this lane advantage.
Yeah, absolutely. And looking at the other lanes as well, you know, no-till on the DK against S4 Puck, pretty even trade at the moment, 10 for 2, 10 for 0. The top lane as well, Moon and Bulldog going at it, 13 for 2 for obviously Bulldog, and then 11 for 1 for Moon. So the other two lanes a bit of a wash, a little bit even. I guess with the hero matchups, this is expected. Yeah,
pretty standard. I would say that Moon isn't going to die, Admiral Bulldog isn't going to die either, likely. So they're just going to trade farm mostly. The only thing that's going to change this is if either one of them severely runs out of regen, but they've both got a lot right now. They'll be fine. So on the mid lane though, S4 versus a Dragonite is a bit of a more interesting matchup, just because Puck can harass a lot, but Dragonite should be able to survive a lot of these things just due to high armor. It's really about this bot lane, the tri-lane versus tri-lane. Oh, we got a great creep though.
Oh, with the old Harpy, yeah, indeed, spamming out the chain lightning. That's
so
not
efficient.
fun to lane against.
You can cast it 8 times, and it does 140 damage, and it bounces, and the range is ridiculous. It's like a 800 cast range, farther than most people attack. So this alone is going to give them a lot of lane advantage.
Yeah. I'm talking about Loda, so as I was saying, on this Mirana, it's something that we've been seeing most of the time in the mid lane, sometimes in kind of like a roaming position, maybe kind of hovering around the off lane. Loda playing this as the hard carry. What build are we going to see? Are we still going to see the Midas come out into bots, into Aghanims, or straight Aghanims? Or what do you expect Loda to build in this Mirana?
Yeah, the Aghs build is a little iffy this game because it doesn't work super well against Huskar because he has a lot of magic resistance, so it's not like an insane amount like it used to be. It's a healthy amount. It's kind of like anti-mage levels when you're low HP and you have 4 points in. I still think we'll probably see it because it's still very good against the other heroes in OG like Dragonite as well as Bristleback, and with the Elder Titan he will be reducing the magic resistance of Huskar, his base at least, so it'll still do a healthy amount of damage and it'll catch the supports like IO and as well as Dazzle. So I think he still goes that build, but maybe a Midas is a good idea. That way he can transition into DPS items later if he needs to.
And we can see down here on the bottom line.
Oh, he's going to stomp.
Oh, indeed. Trying to set something up here. Loda looking for the arrows. He's going to catch out Fly here. So the focus on the Dazzle, but Fly, he's got the back of a crit. Won't be enough. And EGM punching down the Dazzle with the Stapler and gets themselves first blood for the side of Alliance.
That's really nicely done. 2 points in Stomp here sets up 3-second sleep, and there's no way to wake that up unlike the sleep of Bane. It's a little different. So they set that up with an arrow, and then they just burst down the guy before he gets unstunned from the arrow. And they're able to do it with helps from mostly Ake there with the double creep. He's got 2 creeps here that do like 140 damage each with their nuke. That's pretty impressive. So boom, nuke down the hero before he gets the grave off, and that's a kill.
And Loda looking for arrows onto the back lines. Isn't going to catch anyone again this time. But yeah, with that kill and the fact that you can see the CS difference just slightly ahead here for Loda, Miracle is certainly struggling to find the farm. But it looks like OG, I mean, if you're OG, you're not moving the lanes around, you're still feeling that you're getting enough from this safe lane, tri lane.
Yeah, I think they're relatively happy. Miracle definitely does have less hits than Loda, but not by a huge amount. In the in the other lane, it's pretty much equal. Moon's doing slightly better than Faces Void is. It's just going to come down to the first rotations, and that's one way that Alliance is in a much better place. Because as soon as Puck hits 6, he can gank. As soon as Faces Void hits 6, he can gank. So it should be a little bit faster for them to be able to turn around. They do lose this Observer Ward in the safe lane, though. Sentry just placed down by Fly to anticipate that, and he'll spot it in just a moment. So free 100 gold for him and less vision now for Ake. Oh, great deny by Ake.
Oh, what a player.
That's 100 gold right there. That's actually pretty big for Fly.
Mid lane, look at this, S4 dropping down a coil onto No-Tail.
No TPs though.
Coming in quite aggressively, S4, can he do this? One tower hits as well? Yeah, not quite enough.
He messed up his bottle there, basically. He got hit on his last bottle charge and he wasn't able to eke out the extra 10 mana.
I mean, at the same time, getting another kill on this bottom lane, though. This tri lane putting the pressure on and on and on. Crit and Fly not being able to save Miracle. This is... I mean, yeah, Loda, EGM, and Ake are going to be very, very happy with the way this is going.
S4 might die.
He could play around this one. Jumps to the side.
Got a salve as well. Yeah, he'll be okay for now. Yeah, I missed how that kill set up, but it's probably a similar thing. Landing an arrow and a little bit of burst damage. They're doing quite well, and Infused Raindrop picked up on Elder Titan. I really like this. It's not going to be very good against Burning Spears because it'll burn through the Raindrop as a whole, but it gives him a lot of mana right now, which is what he needs. He can't really afford to get both Tranquils and Soul Ring in the laning stage because he's in a tri-lane, but by buying this cheap 225 gold item, lower chances that he dies and a lot of mana so that he can keep spamming for now.
This top lane as well, both Moon and Bulldog, I mean, as we said, they're not killing each other, but both are having a pretty nice time in terms of farm.
Yep.
Moon with quite a little bit of a lead here with the CS. 53 against the 37, so certainly having an easier time in lane.
Yeah, it's mostly because Bristleback now gets big damage amp just by casting spells, and he's also got a skill that lets him last hit, so it's fairly easy to outplay your opponent when they're, because then you're fighting against last hits with the right clicks. Yeah, and you can also cast spells, whereas Bulldog can't really cast spells to get last hits. It's impossible for on his hero. Gank setting up mid.
Notel's got to be very careful here with the lead in. Dream Coil popped down. Ake and EGM closing around the corner. Notel gets off the Dragon Form, but this man unable to fight back. And Alliance there with a 3rd kill. As you said, just a really nice rotation there for the 2 supports.
Yeah, Fly's a little bit late. He did TP and finish his TP, but he was way too late to get the value out of it. And even then, getting the save probably wasn't going to happen. Maybe a Grave TP would have been good, but there was a TP cooldown for Dragon Knight. So really good gank rotation. And this is another really nice thing about Chen, is that you can spend time in the jungle and be efficient there farming without your opponents realizing that you're ganking. So the Chen could be farming, he could be ganking, you don't really know. Whereas if this is a support and he leaves bot lane, you're like, well, he's clearly either ganking mid or ganking the safe lane, or he's going to gank mid. So it's a little bit more straightforward to predict that. So they're doing a great job with this aggressive trialing Chen. I think more teams need to play it like this. It's very effective and hard to predict.
On bottom lane again, talking about the Chen, Ake and EGM. Coming back to join the Forcer Loader, looking for a stomp.
Good movement from Miracle.
Yeah, Miracle indeed, juking it to the front. And EGM coming with the punches, the trap, into the arrow. They're trying to go on this one, but Crit is there with the tether. Is it going to be enough to save Miracle? No, the burst comes through and they'll kill him. Notel with a TP rotation, but side of Alliance are already out there. And at the same time, Bristleback going down as well. Okay, was denying himself by Lucio to get to base. Was killed by a neutral creep, but still.
Okay.
This bottom lane, a lot of action, and it's not stopped yet. Loader walks in with the Star Stomp. The stomp from EGM to set it up. A 3rd.
Oh my God.
Now with the arrow to Notel, Alliance aren't done. They're looking for more. They get themselves in. Notel a little bit too tanky. Loader and EGM thinking about moving in, but with the TP coming through from Miracle, they'll back off. 5-0, 9 minutes in. This is a pretty fantastic start here for Alliance.
Yeah, they're owning right now. That was actually a bit of a miss micro from Ake. He could have done a net into Stomp and they would have killed the Dragon Knight, but they're still doing great. They might be able to get Miracle. No, there's too many creeps in the way. But their lane just works out so well. Dazzle gets killed mid now. That was a solo kill by Puck. Like, they're just losing all of their lanes. Here comes the dive on Miracle.
Oh, and they might just get it again with this control. The Star Storm at this point, the magic resistance won't be there at this stage of the game.
He just can't do anything. He's just getting completely blown up.
He is getting absolutely crushed here. This Huskar 0-3-0 at the moment.
It's like he doesn't have magic resistance, and that's because of their altered skill builds that they have on their hero. Chen got 1 point in Penitence, which amps your damage by 15%, so that's going to make up for some of the resistance. And the Elder Titan has 2 points in his aura, so it's basically almost removing the base resistance that the Huskar already has. So he's just taking damage normally, and he hasn't been able to get his armlet yet.
Oh, Bulldog. All right, nice gank. Holds him back, walks it off with the Moonlight, and yeah.
That's fine.
Not going to find anything.
They're ahead so much in the other lanes that losing that ability to use that cooldown isn't a big deal at all.
They don't need Bulldog to fight at this stage of the game.
Yeah, not at all. He's got tons of last hits. 58 for a solo lane is great. He will be going for the fast Vlads. Nothing unexpected there. And now OG's in this position where they have 2 supports that are mostly defensive, but they haven't just won the lane with them. So now they're just kind of not going to be able to gank. The ganks are going to come down almost entirely to Dragon Knight, really. He's the only stun they have.
Look at this mid as well. S4 ready to lead in on Notel. Bulldog coming in with the TP. There's no Cronus Fit, but the arrow actually the cat Fly on the back line. So Fly, he's going to be in trouble as well. They'll take down Notel. Jumping, take down a second. Alliance absolutely cleaning house here in the mid lane.
Yeah.
And this is looking pretty painful for OG. They are relying on this Miracle Huskar, which is already it's being countered. And you know, S4 going for that early Veil of Discord as his first item. It's a bit of like a Huskar's worst nightmare. Crit, tether across the arrow, won't quite reach onto him. But it's just OG running away, and Alliance and looking to take a tier 1 in the mid lane. In fact, Moon, he's kind of been left behind it. I don't think the Bristleback is going to save it. The mech coming through, it might just be enough. It will. Crit there with the save, but they won't find any kills. Let's see if they can get anything in return, OG, but no, Alliance already well on their way out, so at least OG don't lose anything there, but we can see at the moment they need to come up with a game plan, and the question is, do they actually have the heroes to do so against Alliance's draft?
I mean, they would have if they weren't so far behind, but now they're quite significantly behind. Armlet on the Huskar is going to be up, so at least they're going to have an extra 10 armor. There's still a lot of nukes coming out of Alliance, and they've just been building so efficiently towards amping their magic damage. Even Elder Titan is adjusted his skill build. This is different than most of the other Elder Titans.
Maxing out the passive at this stage, yeah.
So this is a huge base armor reduction. So for example, against Huskar, that's only going to remove 2, because I guess he has terrible base armor. But on Bristleback, for example, that's 6. Dragonite, it's going to be 7. It's a pretty big damage reduction, not to mention the amplification of magic. Like, Dragonite's going to be squishy this whole game. That's what he's going to look like until he gets a BKB, because he's just going to take so much from nukes. And that's on top of the Veil, and on top of the Penitence from the Chen. These guys are not going to be tanky. This build from Alliance is really working here, and it kind of just dismantles everything that OG wants to do. Like, healing lineups are basically not good if there's a lot of damage amp spells coming from the enemy team, whether that's minus armor or minus magic resistance. So Alliance kind of has the counter to what OG is trying to do here.
Yeah, and we saw at the bottom, Notel trying to lead him with an Invis rune, but Loda threw out an arrow, clipped onto him, so he knows that something's going on. So unlikely that OG catch anyone out here, and if anything, Alliance are the ones as well that they'll be kind of happy to fight. The EGM moving in, Ake and Loda on the back lines in case EGM is able to catch anyone out with the stomp follow-up. Notel still sitting on the sidelines. They've got a sentry down. I'll get the D-Ward and Alliance. They're going to be very, very safe here in OG. It'll be questionable whether they can find some. They do have relocate up on crit now, so we could start to see the Huskar IO ganks come in.
Radiant's top tower.
I don't even know if I'd call it a gank, really. Like, what's their setup? It has to be basically Dragonite being there.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
And he's picked up a Gloves of Haste. I don't know if this is going to be a Midas here, because I don't think they win in the early game, that's clear, because they're already quite behind. I think he might have to aim for much later with a Midas, perhaps? I'm not sure. It's that or Maelstrom, really.
There we go, OG. Time to find a bit of strength to get the push through. The stomp will catch onto Miracle. So they're going to follow through. The arrow it is going to fly through, catch Moon. Again, with the spirit being thrown out, Loda starting to move forward. The Dragon Tail holding back the Mirana, needs to be careful. As OG will back off. Again, Moon caught out by the stomp.
Oh, there's TP, they're going.
See if they can try and jump in. Bulldog does have that Chronosphere. We'll see if he finds the opening.
Okay.
S4 has the Dream Coil. See if they want to try and make a jump. We can see the positioning of OG being very, very nice here. Just keeping those supports on those backlines so the saves will still be out. Arrow, again onto Moon. Dream Core with the 2 of them. Crit's going to come in, tether up to Moon, so it's really hard for Alliance to go on this Bristleback. Dragon Tail onto S4. Now Bulldog jumps in, still holding on to the Chronosphere, just pops the time dilation out. Stomp again onto 2, and there's your Chrono onto Crit and Miracle. Saving onto the backliners to make sure they can't try and get in to help out the rest of OG. Crit falling low, but the shallow grave did come out in time. Miracle focusing onto the puck. S4 with the phase shift, keeping himself like the bashes from Bulldog, but it doesn't matter. Miracle takes down 1. Now, are we going to see the 9k player come into play? He's getting stomped up. Has he got the toggle? He should be fine. Miracle keeping himself alive. It's a double. It's nearly a triple. They do find the 3 anyway. And this man, he was not given the best of starts. He was struggling, but he comes back like that with the help of his team, and suddenly Alliance, they've got to rethink how they take these fights.
What a huge little fight there. Like, it's just very difficult to burst. They've arrowed Bristleback like 2-3 times now, and every single time they just don't have the damage to burst him. What they actually need is maybe Elder Titan ultimate and another Echo Stomp or so. Maybe it was a mistake to go for the 4th point of natural order here by Elder Titan, and I think it kind of was, because they need more burst damage. Puck is not enough. Starstorm level 4 is not enough either. They just don't have the ability to nuke any of these cores. Oh, maybe Miracle dies here.
Yeah, but he's got the save with Crit as well.
Yeah.
And there's still a relocate. Miracle, he's going to try and stick around, and Miracle, could he play for this one for the grave? He's going to start to go to work, looking onto EGM. Now he's got to be careful, backing up. I mean, he's going to be fine. They're not going to kill him for the time being unless they can try and jump through. They're looking to chase. Eyes are onto Notel. Penitence out. Moon still hanging around. Nice stomp onto 3, but the arrow threads the needle. Not going to connect onto any of the heroes of OG. Now S4 playing around here, but the heal, the sustain from OG, it's too much, and they're able to safely get themselves out of here.
I'm really dumb. It's an armlet on Dragonite. That was the one item I didn't think about.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's embarrassing. Armlet, completely straightforward.
We still love you.
Tons of armor, good right click. Oh, this OG draft is actually really working out now, though. I think it was maybe a mistake to go Veil on Puck. That's kind of limited his mobility a bit. But even still, he's been quite useful. Arrow not going to hit.
Oh, indeed, and Crit, he's going to nab himself a bounty rune. S4. Not going to quite be able to get the damage through, and they're fine. He's got the bolt charges, tether, and relocate is up in case of emergencies.
If Loda had a little bit more mana, he would have gone for that, because he could have done a leap Starfall, but he didn't quite have the mana pool due to having the Midas here. I think it's okay that he went Midas, but yeah, basically Alliance went all in on early game items. Maybe not all in, but they bought a lot of early game items here. That way they could stand up to the early 5-man team fight for OG.
And the thing is now at this point, we're seeing these team fights. One of the things is that there's this Bristol fight that has 120 CS. Moon, you know, he's got the pipe, he's got the mech. You know, once he gets the Greaves done as well, it's going to be such a strong team fight, and it's going to be even easier to keep Miracle alive on his Huskar.
Yeah, and it really offsets a lot of the magic damage Alliance is doing, because then he just gives a 400 barrier spell block to all of his heroes. It's incredible. Alliance previously was just bursting out anybody they want, but now they're having a little bit of trouble. It's getting a little scary here for Alliance.
It really is. Miracle Huskar certainly coming into work. Mid lane OG.
Just trying to slow the push down a bit.
And Alliance, what's the plan here? They do have Dream Core, they've got the Chronosphere as well.
Got to delay this push as long as possible, basically.
Bulldog's trying to find some farm down here on the bottom lane. Just getting this bottom lane pushed down. Alliance are actually going to follow them through into the jungle here.
And in the meantime, Miracle's pushing the top lane.
Yeah.
So OG's taking the fight to Alliance despite the huge kills.
And we can see here coming through onto Notel. They've dropped the Dream Core for this one, but Notel just walking it around. The heal will be there. They celebrate as well. He's going to be saved. Moon jumping in. And there's the relocate out from Crypt. Very nicely done. Notel's going to be fine.
That was so well done. I love the relocate last second. It forced so many spells out of Alliance. They don't have Dream Coil now. They do have Chronosphere. If you can find... Oh, they spot him.
They've got the sentry down at Bulldog. Being called out by the stun. Do they have the control to deal with him? He's still got the time warp. Gets him out to the side. Still has that Chronosphere. We'll see if he finds an opening to use it. But at this point, the thing is, they can Chrono them. But then how are they killing them with it in the Chrono? They just do not have the damage.
They have to go on the supports. It's the only people that they can kill, because they're going to back each other up. They've got Grave and Shadow Wave at pretty high levels, and a Medallion as well. This is getting pretty scary. It looked like OG messed up the laning stage a lot, but it's just so hard for Alliance to initiate. I think the Midas on Murano is actually a mistake at this point, because they really just need a little bit more oomph. If they had that in that previous fight at the tier 1, maybe they could have gotten the kills that they didn't get otherwise.
I mean, it just really feels like that. You know, Alliance, they had the strong lanes, they had the strong laning stage, but now the team fight, just because it got it just down to still Moon, just getting as much space as he did. He pretty much got free farm on that top lane.
Yeah,
so, and then he turns up to the pushes, turns up to the fights. You have these incredibly defensive support heroes, Flying Crit, just saving every time Miracle. Notel, I mean, he barely needs to be saved himself. He's a Dragon Knight, he's got the armor, he's got the armlet, and it just seems too much for the side of Alliance to be able to even pierce through at this point of the game when the full 5-on-5s come out.
Yeah, with Dazzle Heal or Weave, it's just almost impossible for them to get those core kills. They have to go on the supports. Or what they have to do is get the Echo Stomp on the supports while they go on the course. Eldertine does pick up his ultimate here at level 8. Again, I think it was a slight mistake not to go 7 just because of their opponent's lineup with the 5-man they had and the semi-weak damage that Alliance had. But right now he's got it. He'll be maxing out Echo Stomp next. And if they can get the backline, that's everything. If they just stun or sleep the Wisp and the Dazzle on the backline, and OG doesn't have a way to make those heroes awake, which basically there's no way, then that's when they kill the cores. That's when the cores become killable. So it's really going to come down a lot to whether they arrow those supports or they stomp them with Elder Titan.
Yeah, as you said, they really need the perfect team fight, the perfect order of picking off heroes. But even with that, the fact that if you're focusing the backliners, still this Bristol's going to get the mech off. There's going to be the say that he's now got it into the Greaves on top of the pipe.
They're going to wrap around here.
Let's see how they do with this one. Let's have a look. Are they going to be on point? They've made the drawing.
Ooh, Loda's not quite high enough on mana to take this fight. He is going to be able to get a tower top.
Wrap around here. S4 has the Dream Core. They'll spot out flying the back lines. They'd love to remove the Dazzle from this fight before it kicks off. Dream Core will be dropped. Bulldog coming in with a Chrono. Catches out the two of them here. Fly and Moon trapped in it. Fly can be taken down, but Miracle, he's ready to fight. Jumps onto Ake. Ake pulls the mech. They have the Moonlight Shadow as well, but Ake, he's going to burn down. He's gone, a Miracle moving on to his second target. Eyeing up Bulldog. Miracle chopping away, throwing these flaming spears. EGM will hold him back with the stop. So 1-for-1 at the moment. Loaded jumping forward will manage to kill off the second support. There's still OG standing strong with the 3 cores. Dragon Tail onto Loader. Loader's going to go down as well here. So it's a 2-for-2, but it's a 2-for-2 that OG will very happily take. And we're seeing Alliance trying to do what you suggested. They're killing the supports, but it doesn't matter because OG's cores at this point are just so damn tanky.
It's mostly good for Alliance, though, because they did delay the game by doing this. And it was only a 500 gold advantage going to OG because they're going to get back to regen mid. Okay, it's gone now. So they do lose that tower, but I think they're semi-okay with this. They can still fight for the high ground. It was a pretty good initiation. They wanted to chrono both supports. That would have been perfect, but they only got one. If they killed both right at the start, I think they would have been high enough HP that they defended tier 2, but just a little too delayed there. They've almost got their ultimates back on a lot of their heroes, about 40 seconds, 50 seconds left. Eldertine continuing to buy the tomes. He needs to level up as fast as possible. This is one of the best heroes to have levels on as a support. The tome will give him level 9, I think, or
yeah,
very
450,
close.
isn't it? Yeah, so should push him over.
Okay.
Oh, no, sorry,
ooh,
no, you're right, yeah.
I think it's like 425 or something. Just one more creep dying here. He'll get level 9. Get another stomp level. Boom, there he goes.
You can see him heading over to Roche, but it's not going to be soon enough, OG.
Wow.
3 ages here for Miracle.
All right, and now Miracle has a Sanj. This is most likely going to be a Halberd,
Oh,
which
boy.
means now he's got evasion on top of all
How
of this.
are you killing this man? Yeah.
It's actually
This
so
is-
difficult.
this
The
is-
the tri ultra core tank, pretty much all of them with armlets. This is an armlet abuse strategy basically.
Radiant's top tower
Plus
is
heals.
under
It's like right up OG's alley.
I really don't see this Huskar dying again this game. Let alone
mean,
twice. I mean,
If everyone else on his team is dead, they can deal with them easily.
I even at that. You know, this man really is quite something on this hero that we obviously have seen him back at Frankfurt Major. This was one of the scariest things that OG could pull out on you, this 5th pick Huskar. As you said, you know, the nerfs have been real since that stage of the game, but still, OG and Miracle, of course, showing us the strengths of it. And a game where the laning start, I mean, what was it, 9-0? Alliance just killing people left, right, and center, but ever since that point, it's just slowed right down.
Yep.
OG's team fight's been ridiculous.
Well, Morana's getting kind of close to the Ags at least. He's got 1500 in the bank. Still kind of regretting the Midas. If he did not have the Midas, he would definitely have Ags right now. And I really think that early team fight's more important than the couple extra levels. Because once you're maxed out on Starstorm, you're mostly set for Morana being effective. Like, it's nice to have more leap levels, obviously, but when these guys are like 5-man grouping at 10 to 15 minutes and taking towers and roaches and stuff, it's a mistake to have the Midas. But it was going so well in the early game, it's easy to think like, oh, it's going to be fine, we're winning.
What do you think about this time as well? Something that I'm not sure we see all the time, but Bulldog going for the Echo Saber on the face of his sword.
It's good.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a lot of time lock levels, which makes it a little bit iffy.
Yeah.
It's a lot better if you have more time lock, but if he's in a safe lane, I like Void's going more carry, and this is a carry build, basically. It's carry Void build.
There we go, OG ready to try and break the base. Alliance, how are they going to stop this one? We're going to see them all come back, the full 5 ready to try and defend. S4 jumping in.
They did that
Where's
so
your
well.
damage? Where is your damage here? To stay strong. Arrow flies through, threads the needle. No Tail's got a DD for this push, and we can see just the side of OG laying into the rats. Miracle now jumping forward on TTM, and now he starts to go to work. Look at Zelda timeout. Miracle is being kept alive by the shallow grave. Now he's going to turn around for the second target. Bulldog time walks away. They will actually. Oh, that's
armor toggle, I think.
okay. They're managing to break through the Aegis. They are a little bit early. Bulldog looking to focus No Tail, but even with the Echo Saber, he's literally doing no damage, and now they just turn. Miracle jumps onto him, the time walk just in time. Bulldog trying to get himself back. Miracle moving forward. No mercy here from the Huskar.
They got the racks. Range
did
bear
indeed.
probably going to fall. There's even a double tornado, and they actually just can't kill through this.
A Miracle turn back in. Jumps straight in onto Ake. Bam, bam, bam. Ake taken down by Miracle, and now he's looking for more. Eyes onto Loda. Chasing down this Morana. Loda trying to get himself back,
no.
but he's going to go down as well. Double kill for Miracle. And it seems like OG, people wondered how they were going to react to 6.87. They've come into this match with the perfect game plan.
Yeah.
And off the back of a laning stage that didn't look ideal, this is just absolutely disgusting. Look at Miracle moving in onto EGM. No hope for Elder Titan. It's another kill for the Huskar. And on the back line, Bulldog trying to go in. The time walks away, but he's into Miracle, trying to TP himself back to base, back to TI3. It's not going to work. Another kill for the side of OG, and S4 has to get himself out. I think this is more than over, Purge.
This is like one of the biggest turnarounds I've seen in a long time. In terms of like the laning stage looking so good. They had like a 3,000 gold advantage at 8 minutes. And now this, 25 minutes? This is an armlet abuse strategy right here.
Oh boy.
It's so good.
I think they're going to have to nerf Huskar a little bit more. I mean, that's the way that Miracle's making it look like.
He did get armlet
It's
buffs.
so perfect.
It looks
It's
really
so
good
perfect.
here. Like,
But it's the full lineup, that's what it is. It is not the individual hero here, it's just how well it
Yeah.
works. And the synergy is absolutely remarkable with what's been drafted here for OG.
yeah, in some ways it was actually better for OG in the fact that Bristle got free farm, because that added a
It really
pipe
was. I
to a
think that
position
lane, that
where they
lane.
could have still beat them down, but he got the pipe so fast that it just limited a lot of what Alliance could do.
Yeah.
They needed to win. They needed to like stomp every team fight for 15 minutes. If they did that, they won. But all of a sudden, like the game just got so hard, and it really is their heroes. Like, I like the amp damage strategy they had going, but the Midas and on the Mirana really set them back. And if this was maybe a different carry, I don't know what the solution is, because like even physical damage I don't think would have worked this game, because they had so much armlet armor and
I
stuff
don't
like
think
that. But
anything would have worked out. I mean, if Alliance are able to pull this back round, I mean, this is going to be an absolute miracle.
yeah,
It really is.
they're really far behind now.
2 sets of racks down, 26 minutes in. You've literally got no damage. I mean, there's a level 1 Dagon, whoop-de-doo, Huskar does not care.
You know,
How'd you break through the 3k health points of this man?
I think maybe
The evasion and the magic resist, it's...
I don't know, man. It's tough. Killing the Huskar is it's very difficult now. His net worth is insane.
It's just the back, IO.
15k gold
Dazzle?
advantage, or 15k gold for Huskar here.
Yeah.
Next closest is 10k on Marana. Nobody kills this guy now. Plus he got buffed for heart as well. 45 strength instead of 40. Like, almost everything about this hero is better than it used to be. And in a lot of ways, this is where Huskar should be. Good magic resistance like anti-mage, but it shouldn't be like magic does no damage to you. It's just cool to see. This is their pocket strat as far as I'm concerned. Like, it's not too weird in terms of their picks. It's stuff they've done in the past, sort of.
But the thing is, it worked here, and you know, as we said off the start of the landing stage, where Alliance were getting the kills. I mean, say that you're saying it's a pocket strat. If they did it again, though, how would teams adapt, and how do you deal with this kind of lineup?
You need earlier game value. Like, Face's Void wasn't very effective this game.
Okay.
Maybe if you got a couple chronos on both supports, it would have worked. But
For
they're gonna lose the smoke
in
immediately.
here, trying to jump in, trying to find something, but Moon just sits there.
They can't kill him. It's
I
impossible.
mean, they're going out quicker than they came in here.
Yeah. It's
They
good.
really are.
Well, good positioning by Moon, basically. He's looking to tank the gank or the wraparound, and he did. That smoke is gone. Now the supports are protected by that. If they could have gotten behind, put a ward on the high ground, for example, and jumped on the supports and killed them, maybe they can defend. Now it's equally as hard as it was before. Void does like nothing here. Like, he actually does.
They're just walking in and just... What's the plan? What's the plan,
Kill
boy?
supports, the only way.
Killed the Purge, Creek, Bulldog, gets them easily taken down. Miracle jumping forward, forcing them to battle. There'll be a buyback from Bulldog. Crit, Graved up on the sidelines, flying, playing around with Loader. There'll be a nice bonus film for 2. Where's your follow through? EGM does lay down the Earth Splitter, bringing crit, low crit. They might kill the IO.
got so much armor.
They might kill the IO. They will kill the IO. They managed to get something, but they've lost S4 for it. Loader jumping in. He can't get himself out of this one as well. Throws an arrow back, but Moon, Miracle moving in. Loader's down as well. It's the second one. Bulldog will time walk himself away, but they'll continue to chase down an OG. They'll find the Void as well. Double kill for Fly on the Dazzler. Meanwhile, in the base, and Alliance just falling to the strength of OG this game. You said they had the strat here, and it was absolutely perfect. It really was. This
so
lineup
rough at
from
the start.
OG was...
It was perfect,
It
honestly.
it really was.
Triple super hard melee core, 2 of them which get armlet, so they're really survivable. The other guy gets mech and pipe. And then the supports have good positioning. They sit so far back that it's almost impossible for Alliance to initiate on them. Like, I think the only way Alliance wins that is if they skip Midas, go Ags right away, win one of those fights, or maybe they get, instead of Faces Void, they get a better damage dealing offlane, because they just didn't have enough burst damage on their team at all. Like,